Okay, I'm going to show you how to make the soap for the challah bread with raisins. I measured 500 grams of flour, a teaspoon of salt, a tablespoon of sugar, and about 2 teaspoons of yeast. I don't get the instant yeast. I get I like the active dry yeast. You just get whatever brand. Okay. I just get the big can because that lasts forever. I also put in about a handful of raisins, if you like raisin bread. I don't put any cinnamon in there or anything, okay? And actually it tastes better without it. So we're going to put in, about a stick of margarine, which I just cut up. I left outside for about an hour to soften. And I forgot I need to put in, hold on a second. Ben, just a minute. Okay, Anna, don't hurt Benny. Tell him you're sorry. Okay, there's one egg. Almost forgot about the egg. And I just kind of stick that in there. Oh, I stirred around the flour and the sugar and the salt before, so that it's not, you know what I mean, before I added the wet ingredients. I just stirred it all around, and the raisins and everything. And then I'm going to add 300 milliliters of warm milk. And I might not add all of this. I'm going to show you how this KitchenAid mixture works. Okay, just because a recipe calls for a certain amount of liquid doesn't mean you need to add it all. You just need to add as much as until the dough stops pulling from the sides, okay? I like to use margarine because it's soft already, so if you don't have a lot of time to wait for it to kind of, what is it called, kind of get soft, you don't need a lot of time actually because it's already soft as it is. Okay, so you can see it's kind of working. I'm using the dough hook. Okay, so I'm just adding some liquid, and I know I'm going to need more than that, so I'm just going to go ahead and add. Near the end, you're going to add the liquid more slowly because you don't want the dough to get too sticky, okay? So you can add, most of the dough, and I only put it on like 1 or 2, the dough hook. I don't do it much faster because it needs to kind of get the, as you can see, it's starting to pull away. It's starting to get wet and pull away and get all of the dough. Do you see that? And it'll soon become a ball. So you're not always going to use the same amount of liquid. So you can still see that there's a lot of that you want to add near the end. See, I only used about half. So I used about 200 milliliters of the liquid, and near the last third of the liquid I kind of add it really slow. See how it's already becoming a ball? And there's still a lot of flour down at the bend, so I'm just going to add a splash until it basically has gotten all of the dough. See, now it's a dough ball. You see that? So, and it's not sticky because it's not sticking to the sides. So then I'm going to turn it off. It's perfectly kneaded. And what I usually do is, okay, I'm going to let it rise in there. You can also take it out for a minute and just knead it. You can also knead it in the bowl like that. See how it's a nice kind of ball of dough? Okay, so it doesn't really matter. So there you go. There is the bread, the dough bread, the bread. And I'm just going to cover it with a cloth. See? And it's going to rise to about here, the top. I just let it rise for a few hours. So what I do is there's Benny. I am going to, and this is with any dough recipe. So that's pretty much what you want the dough to do. You want it to pull away from the sides, but not stick. If it sticks, you just add a tablespoon of flour if you added, or a teaspoon of flour, and just keep on adding it until it goes back to that consistency again. So, but you want to try to do it like that. So I just cover it with a cloth. Usually, sometimes I wet the cloth. I think it helps with the moisture in it until it rises, and then we'll do part 2.